Hey everybody, Joseph with the FCE IT team here, and today we're going to talk about Google Groups. Now, I know some of you FCE staff members, when you hear the word group, you're already going cross-eyed because you're thinking, we've already got cell groups and prayer for the nation groups and coffee groups and. Well, here's the good news. This is a group that actually doesn't require you to go to a meeting and might even make communication and a lot of things that you do day to day in your work a lot easier. So let's dive into it. So let's start with the big question. Why use the groups? Well, the Google groups in our FCE domain allow any group of people, like a team, a department, even a class, or just people with a similar special interest, to communicate and collaborate more easily. It's also G Suite's mechanism for sending out mass mailings, like a newsletter to several hundred people or more. There are a lot of advantages to using groups. The first one, which is a real time saver and just to make sure communication is happening in the right way, is that you can email everyone in a particular group just by using the group's email address. You might even be able to mail certain groups that you're not a member of. For example, if you are in Kalungu, but you want to send an email to all the staff in Wolseley or all the staff in Kotini Eden, there will be one email address that will link you to all the staff in that particular training center without accidentally missing one. There are also a lot of other integrations where you can use group while you're in other places. For example, in Google Calendar and Google Documents, you can share all sorts of events and full calendars with groups of people. You can go into Google Documents and you can share out a file or a whole folder even to a particular group of people. And what I love about it is that when you share it with a group, if someone is added to the group, they immediately get access to those things without you having to share that document with them directly. If they're taken out, they also lose access, which is pretty darn convenient. We're not going to talk about how to do that today. That's for another guide. But when we get there, you'll see exactly how to do it, and it's great. And what about drawbacks? Does this have any drawbacks? Probably the main drawback to groups is the fact that you need an internet connection to go into the interface. If you want to join a group, if you want to manage a group, that does require an internet connection. However, communicating with a group can be done through email, like I mentioned before. So you could type your email offline, and then when you connect, it's sent through, and you've worked with the group just like that. Now, not all groups are created equal. There are different types of groups that serve different functions. Now, the first one is a mailing list group. This one, just like it suggests, just allows people to send emails out to a lot of people at the same time by sending it to that group's address. You can also allow certain members of the group to send emails as the group, and you can have members respond back to the sender directly. Now, the next one is a discussion board. This one is more where people come in and talk about something, as like a forum. Members can create topics of discussions that others can join in on and talk about and discuss. This works great when there's a lot of collaboration, like if it's discussions on an assignment or a group project. The third type is a Q&A forum, question and answer forum. Users post questions, then other people post their answers, and then certain people can come in and say, well, this is a good answer, this one's not a very good answer, vote for their favorite answer. And if someone who asked the question really likes one, they can mark the best answer that people can quickly come in and see, wow, that was the answer that solved the problem. And we're going to show you a group just like that in a minute. The fourth type is the collaborative inbox. This is great for situations where you have, for example, an office that's receiving email, maybe even just from the outside. It could be an outward-facing email address, for example, the Masayiti office. And now, instead of it just coming to one person's email inbox, it's actually being distributed out to several different people. In other words, people send an email to the Masayiti office, and now you've got several people in the office who are receiving the emails, and they can decide who's taking which email and not accidentally step on each other's toes, sending the same email twice and so forth. Now that we've looked at why the groups are such an important thing, let's look at how we can take advantage of these things, specifically getting into existing groups and managing our membership in those. So we're going to open up a Chrome browser window, and once that's there, we're going to type in groups.google.com. And by the way, I get to narrate Lowe's usage today. So you'll see his name pop up here and there. And here is the landing page. We've got a search bar at the top, a sidebar on the left with lots of nice things there, and then 2 buttons here. Let's check the first, My Groups. This is exactly what it says it is. It's the groups that you're already a member of or that you're managing. And then we can jump over to Browse All. And here we can see all of the visible FCE groups. And from here, we could join ones that we're not a part of. And you got some that you can just join immediately. Those are public groups. Then you got some that are a little bit more private. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's go back out and check the search bar. Here, we can search for group names, but you can also search for actual topics inside of groups. And you'll be able to see basically search everything that you have access to. So that's pretty cool. So we can see some of the things there. Let's go back in and look at actually joining a group. So we're going to check out Wolseley admin. Can we join this group? Can we become part of the Wolseley office automatically? Unfortunately, no. That's a private group for obvious reasons, and you can only join that if they invite you specifically. So you could send them an email and beg and plead, but if you're not part of the office, it's not there. Let's open up this Afrikaans newsletter. This one is a public group. We can actually just join it. Just click that button and you're a part of it, and you get that newsletter automatically. There are also restricted groups where you can ask for permission, so there will be a button where you can literally ask. But let's look at another public group here that you can really benefit from even today if you go and join it. The IT Learning Center. That's a place where you can ask questions about your IT struggles and ponderings. And there it is. If we hit that star there, this is part of the interface of the groups. You notice it just became a favorite group there. And you can star it, you can unstar it, and it comes in and out of the favorites. And also in the My Groups, you can star individual groups there. So as Lo is showing, we can easily star, unstar, and that just puts it in that little favorites area to make it really easy to get to it without even having to go into My Groups, without having to open up the Browse All. Now, check this out. This is the email settings. This is really useful if you are in a lot of different groups, but you want to manage how the emails are coming in. You'll see that you actually have 4 different options there. And those 4 options are to, first of all, is don't send email updates. That would mean to get the messages coming through, you would literally have to go in to this interface and check the groups manually one by one. Now, that will definitely clear up your inbox, reduce the number of emails coming in, but unfortunately, you will miss out on things unless you're checking pretty frequently. It's nice to get a little bit of information coming in. That second one says send daily summaries. What that's going to do is basically take every topic that came in, every email that was sent to that group, every document every document notification, I should say, that was emailed out. And it's going to take the subject line and maybe the first paragraph and put all of them together into one email, and you'll just have a quick view. And if there's one particular email or 2 that interest you, you could click on it, and then it will open in Google Groups, and you'll actually be able to go in and do something about that, read it, and see the full message. The next one down gives you a little bit more information. Instead of just a brief topic or a brief summary of each email, you're going to get the entirety of each email inside of one email. So this is a nice one just to kind of summarize the activity for the day. And that will come in, like late afternoon usually is how it usually works, how I've seen it with my groups. And if there's more than 25 emails, then those will just get, there will be just a remark that there's more of those and you can get them. But otherwise it goes up to 25 emails. But usually if it's like 2 or 3 emails in a group, that's a good one to get it. Then the bottom one is every new message. Every new message means exactly like that. As soon as a topic is posted, as soon as an email is sent, as soon as a notification for a document or a share comes through, you're going to get that immediately, as if they're sending it straight to you. So moving along, we'll see that the one other thing on this screen is that for each of our groups, there's a button to leave the group. So just be careful with that one. You might leave a group that's difficult to get back into. And next, we're back at our group. And as you can see, we have a red button at the top left, and that's where we can post something new to the group. This one says new question because it's a Q&A forum. And most of your groups are going to be like announcement only. So it will say maybe something like new post. But this one is a Q&A forum, our IT Learning Center. So let's click there and see what we get. Our next screen has a, looks like almost like an email. We can type in the name of our question. So Lo's going to ask about setting a network location shortcut in Explorer. As you can see, you can choose what kind of topic this is. So the default for a Q&A group is to make it a question, because most people are coming in to ask a question. But we could also turn it into a discussion where it's less of having a question with a definite answer, but just people coming in to discuss different things. And then you have an announcement, which is going to be, straight up just something to announce, and there's not going to be much discussion around it. Then we've got a button for displaying at the top. That's more of if you're a manager of the group, you'll have that one. You can decide whether or not you want the email updates for this particular topic sent to you after you've asked it. And you can attach a file. Like maybe if it's a problem, you can put a photo of the screen. So then it's just as simple as typing your post. And when you type that out, afterwards it's basically just going to be sent out to the people in that group. So if they've said, hey, I want to get every email, they're going to receive that right away. If they've said, hey, I want to get an update of all the emails that came through at the end of the day, then they're going to hear about this at the end of the day. Yay, spell check. Yeah, it's good to say please and thank you. So he's going to hit the red post button in the top left, and suddenly, give it a second, there it is. It has appeared, it exists, and it has been emailed to the people according to their preferences. And let's give it some time. A little bit later, I've come in and I've actually answered it. So Lo's going to go in and he will see that there's a response. He got an email. There it is. He can come in and see it. And when people respond to your questions, since this is a Q&A forum, there's a few things you can do. You can actually star that topic. Refresh that, and you'll see that actual topic came into your favorites, into the starred things. And of course, if you don't want it to be in there, you can go and take off the star. And then it will be there or not be there. And now you got some options. You can kind of vote up the answer if you like it, or you can vote it down if you don't like it. Don't push that, Lo. Don't push that. Yeah, there we go. Mark me as the best answer. Yep, because you have a contractual obligation to do so. Not really, but anyway, never mind that. But since when it gets marked as a best answer, what happens is it gets put to the top. Even if other people have other answers, that best answer is going to be right under the question. Because that's basically the question askers, the person who asked the question, however you say that. That's their way of saying, this one helped me. This solved my problem the best and was worded in the easiest ways for me to do it. Then moving right along, once he's done that, then you'll see that it shows up as answered. So when you see that, when you know somebody has asked a question and got an answer that they found was good enough. So there you have it. You should now be able to participate in the FCE groups and manage your group memberships. Now, you'll be able to communicate, share meeting details, and collaborate on documents more securely and efficiently. Go and enjoy it. As a group, of course.